All right.
You juiced up on this. Too much caffeine.
Yeah, the caffeine's got me. All right.
Hi, I'm Sean Collins.
I'm Stephen Barry.
This is We Feed Them, a podcast about the people and the stories that shape the food industry.
Yeah, and today we have a guest, good buddy of mine. We've known each other for quite a while, and he's a hell of a cook. He's currently a chef, correct?
Yep.
And so his name is Justin Williamson. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you got going on right now as far as professionally?
Yeah, so right now I kind of left the fine dining industry to find better work-life balance, and now I'm working at a bakery, early hours, get in there early, leave early. It's been great. Yeah, just making all kinds of pastries and soups and paninis and stuff like that. It's been really cool to change up.
Yeah, and you don't work weekends, right?
Sundays and Mondays off. I kept it the same as my fine dining schedule just to keep my life pretty steady, but yeah.
Are you a football fan? Like an NFL football fan?
NFL, no, but like Premier League, yeah.
Oh, man. I feel like Premier League.
Yeah.
Okay. Football.
Yeah.
I got you. Sunday, Monday is the best when you're an NFL fan. That's why I was asking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I had Sunday Mondays off the first time, it was because, I mean, I went about 6 years where I was just working Sundays every week, and I'm a huge Colts fan. And finally got to where I had Sundays off. That first week, it was like NFL opening week or whatever. I remember I had NFL Red Zone on my big TV. I had the Colts game going on a smaller TV, and I was just sitting in my house alone, baked, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
I've witnessed the setup. He's not joking.
Yeah. No,
The two TV thing?
Yeah,
I've definitely seen that set up in your house.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mention it because I feel like just even having Sundays off in this industry is pretty rare. Right now, I'm in a job where our busiest day is Sunday, so I think that I'm just going to work Sundays for the rest of my life at this point. It sounds like you've already kind of found a better work-life balance than what you had.
Yeah. Yeah, I was starting to struggle there for a minute mentally, and I just knew I had to get out and find something that I could, be happy with myself at. So it's nice to have that change up and have free time and be with my family more. And, now I can do like real adult things like, be the man of the house, fix stuff, mow the lawn, cool stuff.
What was the mental struggle? Was it related to hours or the pressure of what you were doing?
It was a little bit of both. So the hours were 11 to 11 basically every day, which is pretty standard in the industry, I know. So I'm not like complaining. That's what I signed up for. But just over the 5-year period I was doing it, I was just starting to realize, what am I doing this for?
It's such a bummer when you work 12 hours and then on top of that, you get off of work and it's completely dark out and nothing's open,
Exactly. Oh, it was wild. The first time I got off at 3 o'clock and I just went to lunch. I just went and got lunch and it was open. I was like,
Was other people awake?
yeah, real life is pretty cool.
Yeah. Especially after COVID, because it used to be 24-hour Walmarts and late night convenience stores, and now I feel like everybody shuts down at 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to go to just Walmart or Meijer and just wander around for the hell of it. I got nothing else to do, so I might as well just wander around, maybe spend $20, eat some snacks, and now you can't do that, which I never understood why they closed. They shortened the hours during COVID for places like Walmart to reduce the risks, which never made sense to me. Maybe I misunderstood the situation because it seems like the more hours, the more you can spread the traffic out, but I don't know. And they never went back. They're like, shit, we like this.
It seemed almost like they had a different agenda, that they were already trying to.
It was all a plan.
Right.
I knew it, dude. This was like just all a plan to funnel more people into fourth meal at Taco Bell drive-thrus.
Yeah, that's all COVID was.
Yeah, I knew something was up,
The
dude.
plan from the big three.
Yeah, yeah, McDonald's, Taco Bell, and Burger King. If those are the big three, I don't know. Maybe Wendy's is getting a little closer to taking Burger King out.
But it's kind of funny even mentioning COVID because I feel like we met during COVID times.
Yeah.
And even to this day, when I picture you with a COVID mask.
Same back at you.
So you've been in the workforce now for, as far as just pursuing your dreams and stuff, what has it been, 6-7 years now?
Yeah, about 6, 7.
Yeah. And you went to
Dude,
6, 7. There we go.
I'm so mad at myself for that. I'm sorry.
No, it's been 7 in all reality though. 7 years professionally cooking.
And you went to culinary school, correct?
Yep, I graduated from culinary school. They really just taught me pastries there, not a lot of cooking skills. So I really learned everything I learned how to cook in restaurants.
Well, it seems that obviously it comes into play now,
Right.
working at a bakery. Did you grow up or in your teenage years, were you adamant that you wanted to be a chef, or is it something you had to decide on?
No, so dive into it then. Yeah, so growing up, I had something to prove to myself. I needed to be successful. So I thought I was going to do whatever it took to be successful and be miserable. And so I went to engineering school to be a computer science major, hoping that that would give me the riches and the life that I wanted.
Right.
And then halfway through engineering school, I realized that I don't like doing math like that. You know, quick math is fine, but when you're doing like 2 pages of math to get one problem out, it's not something I could do. So I actually ended up dropping out of engineering school just because I just wasn't clicking with it. It was not something I liked to do. I kind of came home defeated, realized that life is kind of harder than I thought it would be. You know, when you're 18, you feel like you're invincible. And then you go out in the world and you realize that people are working hard.
Right.
So yeah, then my family and everybody encouraged me to join cooking because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I applied to a couple gas stations even. I was just really defeated because I really enjoyed food my whole life, but it's not something I would recognize about myself. So then when I joined the cooking industry, I did realize that the people that loved me were right. It was my passion, you know, and when I admitted the defeat from dropping out of engineering school, I had a couple other trauma issues that I had incurred in college. And so really I was running from myself. And so getting into a kitchen and being able to just bang it out for, 8 hours and just be in the fire and the flames and just be in a pirate crew and all that stuff allowed me to have my own headspace and get away from those thoughts. And so in a way, the kitchen really healed me as a person. So I like it for a lot more than just pleasing people and everything like that too.
I feel like I can relate to that. I think that we've talked over the years a lot of times about how it's tough to put a finger on it for me, but there's just something that the restaurant did that sort of made me feel like I have a place, you know? I don't know, there's just something about like the ragtagness of what's going on in the kitchen, especially for me, or I guess the whole hospitality where you realize that other people are broken and trying to heal, and for some reason it just feels like they're collecting in this one space, but they're actually just trying to serve strangers. And there's something about that somehow heals us, or breaks people too, I guess. But yeah, I feel like I can understand what you're saying about that, you know?
Yeah, I know that he and I both had like tumultuous home lives growing up, and it kind of gives you a sense of belonging and a place to be. And it almost kind of feels like it's disconnected from the world, a kitchen, because there are no windows. You're just kind of, you're back in this little secluded space with a couple people that you end up growing to know and love. And sometimes you are around these people more than you're around your actual family. And yeah, I mean, I think that I would say the restaurant industry has detracted from my life personally, but it's been an escape for me a lot as well, to kind of just get away from the problems of my life and the world, and to just hide in the kitchen and chop some onions, you know?
Yeah.
It almost feels like you're accepting some sort of punishment, you know? Like, I've been bad, just put me in here with the flames. Like, I want to it's going to be 110 degrees on my station and no windows, like you said, and I won't see any humans when I get off of work. Like, there's just something, I don't know. I guess that's not actually what's happening. You're not actually you're not like a step closer to hell, but sometimes it feels like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be, back here, hidden. And then you start to find ways to kind of blossom from it. I think it's really cool.
Like you said, though, I think it takes a real certain mentality, because I've also seen it break people too. I remember one time there was a fry cook that just lost it, and I was managing him, and he just started ranting about, man, I just can't do this, and I don't want to be in this kitchen, and I don't think this is the right thing for me. And I was like, all right, man, but how long on that popcorn shrimp? You know, because this is what you're doing right now. So I mean, at least
talk about this by the dumpster with a cigarette. Did you go to the same school for culinary, or was it a separate?
No, so I was going to a university for engineering school, and it was a whole thing to even test in engineering school. And then when I dropped out, I went to just community college and just got, my 2-year degree in and out. So really, I was just trying to get a piece of paper and move on to be a cook.
Can I ask about the financial?
Yeah.
Okay, how is that? I'm assuming you have loans from the initial engineering degree that you were going for, and then more for...
So for most people, that would be a huge problem, but I have to just admit that I'm a very privileged person. My family took good care of me, and I don't have any debt from university because of that. And so I'm very grateful for that, and I realize how rare of an opportunity that is. But yeah, so no, I basically had a clean start. I was able to work for a couple of years and buy my own house and, start life fresh, basically. So yeah, I have small community college loans, but for the most part, it's been great for me, and it's a really lucky experience.
Yeah.
And my question was, the pressure for success Was that a more internal thing, or was that something that your parents were pushing you in that certain direction, or was it just something that you kind of fell into?
I think my parents always wanted me to be successful, but they didn't push it on me like that. They want me to be happy.
Right.
Me internally, I saw money as being happy. So I was like, whatever it takes to do that, that's what I'm going to do. So it was my own internal struggle of being like, I need to be somebody. If you asked me at 16 what I was going to do, I said, I'm going to be a CEO of a big company. I really believe that. And then you get out here and you see everybody working hard and you're like, this world it's real big out here.
I'm 34 and I'm still having moments where I go, all right, maybe I'm not going to be on MTV Cribs.
Yeah, literally.
I mean, maybe, but I'm going to have to bring it back myself also. But yeah, I had some of that same, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that, of just having this super ambitions. Because I think like if you reach for the stars, you fall in a cloud.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's Kanye West.
that's Kanye
Sorry.
West said.
I already
Some
recognize
people
that.
might not like that, but there it is.
And I've also kind of realized that, I mean, there's a lot more to life and happiness than just money. And I feel like I had a lot of that mentality too, especially growing up poor, was, money would fix everything. And I'm at the point now where I'm content with my life, and all I really need is what I need to get by, and just maybe a little bit extra to kind of throw around here and there and kind of buy the frivolous things that I don't really need, but I want. But I don't really feel the pressure to be a millionaire anymore, like I did when I was a teenager. But for me, I mean, I originally went to college for journalism. It's kind of what I wanted to do, but I also feel like I was pushed into it by outside forces, my parents and stuff, my stepdad just kind of really, it felt like, I don't know, when you're a teenager, sometimes it feels like everybody is kind of pushing you and telling you, the only way to do this is to go to college for 4 years, and that's the only way you're going to be anything. And if you're not doing that, then you're just going to be working at 7-Eleven for the rest of your life, and it almost feels that black and white until you get a little bit older and you start to get into the workforce and you realize, oh, there's a lot of different avenues towards just defining success for yourself. You don't necessarily have to fit into somebody else's mold of success. So you are happily married now. I've met your wife a few times. She's a lovely person. And how has your work life kind of affected positively and negatively that newfound relationship? Well, I guess it's not a newfound relationship, but you've been married for what, like 4 years now?
I think we're going on 4 or 5 years, and then we've been together for 11 years in total. So we've been together forever. Yeah, high school sweethearts.
Pretty much your whole life.
She's been she's seen the whole story.
Yeah.
All of it.
Is she an industry person?
Just recently, she became the head of social media at our business.
Okay.
So she is now, as of about 1.5 years.
Oh, cool. Sick.
But yeah, anyway, how has the industry kind of positively and negatively impacted your relationship?
Well, it's really caused a lot of struggle at first because, like I said, working 11 to 11, and her schedule didn't align with that. She was working mornings and getting off around 3 o'clock. It was a lot of time where we couldn't be together. And then when I get home, she needs to go to bed. And that's understandable. So obviously not as much time together as we'd like when I'm in fine dining, especially. And the stresses of the job were making me lash out in different areas. Not like aggressive, just, maybe I'm not listening as close as I should. Maybe I'm not being as supportive as I could be just because I'm wore out. I'm just mentally exhausted. And I feel bad about myself because the chef told me that I'm never going to be great. You know what I mean? So, there's been struggles at first, but then, you find your path and then you find your compromises. And she started eating dinner with me like at midnight, which is crazy. So yeah.
Cereal.
Usually fast food, we ain't cooking when we get home.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because, yeah, that's another thing is everybody assumes that when you're a chef or this is what you do for your life, they're like, oh man, I bet you're throwing down at home. It's like, no, frozen pizza pretty much.
Yep. Yep. Hot Pockets.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's cool that I feel like that was her showing you that, or maybe she was asking you to find a way to meet her halfway too, because if she was going to stay up late and wait for you and have dinner with you at midnight, like you said, you felt like you were missing the mark a little bit because of the hours and the stress. So was that like a wake up call moment?
No, we didn't have any moments that were like that. We've had a really strong relationship, and credit to her for being really understanding. She understands that this is my passion and how far I want to go in the industry and all of that. So she's always been very understanding. We didn't have any moment where it was like, hey, it was actually more of me being burnt out and just feeling down about myself, being like, what makes me happy is being with my family. I don't want to miss my kids' softball games, baseball games when we have a kid. Maybe I want to coach the team, and if I don't change something about my life, I'm never going to be that person for my kid. And that's really what woke me up to that. I was just thinking, what's the long game here? Like, I'm getting older. It's crunch time to do the things that I want to do in life that will fulfill me. Career is one path, family's another. So I had to find a balance there. And so that's why I'm working where I work now. Working mornings, and it's been great balance. Now we have the same schedule, we even work together, so.
Yeah, you and I both worked for the same chef for a while, and it was kind of hard for me to see just the things that he was going through as a parent, and one of his kids lived a couple hours away even, and knowing that he was working just as much as we were, these 12-hour shifts every day, and just kind of like looking at him in bewilderment, because he seemed like a great dad. I'm sure he is. And a great father, a great husband as well. But it was just kind of like how I was always perplexed at how he found the time to balance his work life. And especially, I know his wife is not in the industry, and it seems in my experience that women kind of don't really understand when they haven't really had a taste of the industry. Sometimes they don't understand why you've been at work for so long, or why you might be in a bad mood when you get home. That's something that I've kind of struggled with as well, even to the point where I've had girls just kind of thinking that I'm doing something. Like, they're like, you're not really working that much. It's like, no, I'm open to close today.
Yeah. There's moments where I almost feel like I'm over explaining why I've been so gone. I mean, even now I've been with my fiance for 6 years. I think it's been 6 years, and I'll say, I was late because of this. And then she's just like, okay, yeah, I know, I get it. And I go, okay. But, just seriously, like, the dishwasher was flooding the kitchen. It's just like, yeah, I know, I believe it. I get it. I go, okay, cool. Because nobody else can, like, okay, you get it. Yeah.
It's almost like you feel more guilty than you should.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing I'm not doing. You're not doing anything wrong. You just, I don't know. There's so many unexpected turns, and you can't just punch out and dip out. I mean, it depends on, I guess, what role you're playing in a restaurant. But I feel like the people that exceed in this industry are usually the people that are willing to do all of that extra crap, or kind of like not necessarily break their backs, but, just show that they're willing to sometimes do things without any extra compensation too. And I mean, it does pay off. It just doesn't pay off in that moment. It might not actually get handed a $20 bill because you did something off the clock or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that all three of us, I think I can speak for you guys as well, have enough passion and drive that we don't really accept mediocrity. I feel like I don't. There are certain points where you just have to say this is good enough, because you can't be perfect every day. But every day I aim for perfect, and I think that kind of causes me to give a little bit more to my job, and I mean, time, effort, even physically, and sometimes that detracts away from things that are also important in life, or sometimes more important in life,
Yeah. What was the first day of culinary school like? I've never gone, so I'm just curious. I want to know. Like, what were you feeling? And
For me, I was already working at a brewery at this point.
Okay.
For a couple of weeks, maybe a month. And, I was working there for about 3 months as a dishwasher, and then they put me on the line about a month before I joined culinary school, and I was green. I didn't even know how to use a knife.
Yeah.
And so I kind of got some quick skills right before I went to culinary school. So I walked in confident, because all these kids were just there because their parents told them to go to college. Like, they didn't even want to cook. They had no passion for it, and I really did. So on the first day, the chef was asking everybody, welcome to the class. Like, what are you here for? And I was like, hey man, I want you to push me as hard as you can. Make me the best you can make me. I want to be the best. I don't want to be good. I want to be the best. And so for me, I walked in with full confidence and became pretty much like the star student of the class. I got a scholarship for some scholarship, I don't remember, and got put up for an Italian magazine for my bonbons, and didn't get it, sadly enough.
What kind of magazine for your bonbons?
Italian.
That's cool. Was there moments during that time that there was just humbled, where you go, shit, I don't know, there was just something that maybe the instructor schooled you on, or something that you felt?
Yeah, so my instructor was not afraid to kind of jerk you around a little bit, like you're cutting something a little bit wrong, and he's gonna grab your elbow and move to the left, like, that's not what we're doing here. And it's like, whoa, I'm a college student, like, I've never cooked before, So luckily for me, I didn't experience nearly as much of that as the kids I was going to school with, because I was learning quick skills in the brewery and I was really trying to succeed. And I took pretty naturally to it. I feel like I was lucky, but I had a ton of struggles at the brewery. I remember one day the chef walked up and I had washed my whole cooler for the night and I was about to leave and he was doing the final cooler check. And he walked in and he opened the cooler and he wiped his finger across the bottom and there was like a speck of dust on his finger and he goes, "What is this?" And I go, "What?" He goes, "You didn't clean that good enough." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "It's not perfect. I wouldn't eat off of that. Do it all over again." And he took all my prep out of the cooler and just, and so I had to stay for another like 2 hours just to do that. So those are the experiences that humbled me and shaped me. In college, I was pretty much above the grade of the people I was going to school with.
Was that brewery chef, was that what he was always like, or was he trying to give you a little extra struggle?
I think that, actually, I'm not sure. I didn't really know him. I only worked with that chef for like 2 weeks, and then he walked out with the whole kitchen staff, and they all went to a different restaurant altogether.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, so pretty much we had a whole new crew by the time that I felt comfortable on the line. So I don't really know his personality. I've heard some wild stories about him.
So was this like in the middle of service? Everybody just kind of dropped what they were doing?
It was towards the end of the night, so it wasn't
planned this shit.
catastrophic. Yeah, but the chef was just like, "Hey, everyone, we're walking out," and the whole staff minus 3 people just all walked out, and they all got hired at the same place. No,
Like,
because
including me? Or
no, because I wasn't on the line every day at that point. So I was doing dishes, and they say, "Hey, you've cooked up here a couple times, right?" I say, "Yes, sir." They say, "Get up here." I said, "Yes."
They were like, "Congratulations, you're the new chef."
Literally, dude. So I was like, it was a good thing for me, you know.
Yeah. Dude, could you imagine though, you go, "All right, chef, we're walking out," and you guys are marching down the alley or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, I appreciate you." Oh, we didn't, shit, you weren't supposed to come with us. What do you mean? You're still like drying a fucking plate.
Like the ugly duckling in
Chef,
the
come
back.
on, man. He goes, all right, we'll find you a spot, I guess. Come on.
You need to make sure that cooler's clean, though.
Yeah. That's the biggest way that people get thrusted into quicker promotions almost in their career with this stuff. Is I feel like I had something similar where it was pretty much the whole kitchen rotated out in a small period of time, and they just kept, I didn't get promoted to like the chef or anything, but I went from dish to fry guy on Friday before I was prepared to flat top on Mexican night, which was a pretty busy night in that restaurant the next week. And then I'm working 40 hours as a cook, and then I was working 60 hours as a cook, and I didn't know how to hold a knife quite properly, and yeah.
Yeah, the first time that I stepped up to assistant management, it was because somebody had walked out, and he was like, at the time we had a night prep person, and I was working the line, and after he walked out, I just kind of started doing his job too. I was doing both of our jobs I didn't really have anything in mind other than, oh shit, we need rice. And I went back there and started doing rice, and then the next day my boss pulled me in the office and was like, "Hey, you showed a lot and kind of proved that you have the ambition and drive to do something with this. So would you like to be a key holder?" So yeah, I think that those are the moments that kind of make or break people that end up excelling in this line of work.
Yeah, cheap manager. That's what he was thinking.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he was like,
Do you remember your first key? I feel like that when you said key holder, I remember the first time I was handed a key, and it was kind of a big moment for me. Do you remember the first time you were handed a key to a restaurant?
Yeah, it's actually a place we used to work at together.
You ended up being the sous after I left, right?
Yeah, so right after you left, me and a coworker assumed double sous position because I was green and the chef knew that, and honestly, it was wisdom. I was offended at the moment, but it was a good choice. And then shortly after, he actually left too, and then there was no chef there, so who was going to take over? So us, the sous chefs. So I actually got to run that place for a couple months, 6-7 months, before we actually got into the new chef that we hired after us. So that's when I was given a key when I became the chef, and I was totally undeserving, but we made it work, and we had actually some of the craziest nights. I remember one night, I was maybe in charge for a month. The crew was pretty small, but they're reliable, really good crew. We had over 120 covers booked because it was a really busy holiday event. And then we also had a party of 100 people in the next room doing a wedding. So we had to make all the party food and prep for 120 people. And in that restaurant, that's like as busy as it can get.
Yeah, that's full capacity.
And we didn't miss a single ticket. Everything went out great. And that was one of the proudest moments as like a full-on leader that I had. I was proving it to myself. We did this, and I made sure to tell everybody that was killer. Like, let's do that every day. Yeah. And I remember telling them before shift, because I didn't know if we were going to sink or swim. We had everything prepped, but then it all comes down to executing, And I remember telling them, I said, hey, what you believe to be your limits are not your limits, that's your comfort zone. And as soon as you break your comfort zone, you're going to fly. And they did. And it was so rewarding.
That's
to watch.
like,
Put that shit on a t-shirt.
yeah, I was gonna say that's like halftime speech in a movie, you know?
I was going for, I was trying to be on my Bill Belichick.
Dude, you came in your first day, they hand you a key, and you were like, I'm ready. You came in with a whistle the next day. Let's go. That's awesome, though.
That's funny.
Preparation is, I mean, I don't even know what you would say if it's 50% or more, but it's, if you just take all the time and make sure that you have, especially if you know you're going to be busy, you don't have to worry about how much, but just everything that you need, and then backups of backups and backups, just stock like an army's coming. And then, like you said, the next thing is execution, which is a whole problem. But or not a problem, but if you're in the middle of trying to execute and you go to reach for something or there's something missing, and when you're behind in prep, everything starts to unravel. And so just being prepared is, dude, if there's any young bartenders or cooks listening and don't understand the importance of stocking and prepping for success, this is your notice. Like, you have got to be ready, because you will just look so much better if you just have everything in place.
Yeah, and think of how much time and energy you're wasting running off the line to go to the cooler for every little thing just because you didn't take that 20 minutes or whatever beforehand to actually make sure that it's all there.
Yeah.
I know, especially on days I know that it's going to be busy, like Mother's Days and stuff, I'll overstock and over prep.
Crazy.
Yeah, you just you say like, well, I mean, I don't think that we could have enough of this, you know, so you just do a bunch of it. But you also touched on something too that I think is a pretty interesting note, in that in a leadership role, and I think this is something that you kind of taught me as well, because he's always been like a step ahead of me in our career. So like when he was a chef, I was a sous chef, and when he was a sous chef, I was just learning grill. So it was kind of cool to like walk behind him, and he would learn a little things here and there and just kind of hit me out to it. And one of the things that he kind of taught me early on in my career was, in a leadership position, you have to be that stoic, stone-faced leader and like never show sweat, even if in your head you're like, oh shit, I don't know if we're gonna do this. Like when the walls are coming down, you gotta kind of run in there with the sword out, and just so everybody else can kind of see that and rally behind it. Because if you don't do that and you falter, then it plants that little seed of doubt in everybody else's mind.
Agreed. And I think that's why like the word team is so strong in a restaurant, because if you're a team and everyone has everyone's back and everyone, knows that we're not going to point fingers. If something goes wrong, we're just going to fix it. And there's a leader that, enforces that we're going to be like, that's the unit we're going to run, and only inputs positive energy. I feel like just the belief in that alone is so powerful, because if everyone believes, then we're going to do it. And doubt is not a great thing to creep into the mind. So yeah, I think everyone believing in the same thing is key.
I had some moments where I might be overseeing a project where I start to show that there's doubt, where maybe the overwhelmingness sets in. I'm really sensitive to caffeine, so I might have amped up a little too hard trying to get ready for something, and then I start to get the shakes and feel it a little bit, and I don't know. There's been a lot of those moments. I guess they're probably sort of few and far between, but in my head, like, they really seared into my mind, and I don't know. In those moments, I was really proud, because the couple that I'm thinking of right now, my staff was always understanding, and they stepped up and just sort of covered me. I remember one of them, we did a concert here, you were here, and I was feeling, we'd never had done anything like that. We went from we had a full capacity, every seat was full. And then at 7:00, we had to empty the dining room, remove all the tables and chairs, and get a band set up with full audio, lights, soundboard, like everything. And then people started coming in, and there was a cover charge for the band. And I've never tried to do this before. And we had families out here eating, and we basically had to like kick them off their tables and pick the tables up and, hey, get the hint, we're trying to get you out of here, which sucked. But anyways, during that moment, all of that stress, we were filling the kitchen with tables and the bar stools, and that was probably the last time that I was just like, I don't know, I need to go find a cigarette, and I don't smoke anymore, but I think I found you, and I was like, can I have a cigarette? We went outside, and I just, okay, nicotine is not gonna help in a stressful situation, so I don't know what I was thinking. It was just an old habit, but I still felt that, and I came in, and some of the project that I was working on had progressed, and the staff had stepped up, and which it's not like they were lacking in the first place. It's just that they saw where I was going with it, and that I was losing it, and then they finished the job, and I thought that was really cool. But I was a little embarrassed, but still proud.
It's interesting to hear your perspective on that now, because just being a bystander in that and watching it, it seemed very seamless. It kind of seemed like it all happened as planned, but now just kind of reflecting on that, what you must have been thinking.
Oh man, that was intense for me.
Yeah.
That was intense.
But
Like we have on the security camera, I gave it to one of the bands to do for like promo material. We sped it up of us trying to go. Okay, it was a full dining room full of people, and then we finally got one table up, and then like 3 of us come out to bus. But instead of just busing the table, we're also picking up chairs and tables and taking them out. And then so we have the speed up clips of that, and I think they used it in like a reel to say, you know, hey, we're trying to find unique places to play. And
imagine being the person sitting at the other table. They see you come out to bus, and the next thing you know, you're moving the table.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on here?
wow, they're really into this. Busing there, they don't leave anything and no stone unturned. Holy shit.
Got to sweep underneath the table, like every spot underneath
Yeah,
the table.
no, the chairs go through the dish tank. We don't play around, dude. Damn.
So yeah, I'd actually like to touch on ego. I got myself into a little bit of trouble with ego lately. I guess I'll just start from the beginning. When I started cooking, my whole mission was just to serve like basically my community. I wanted just to serve burgers, just common foods that everyone could enjoy. My friends could come eat, that kind of stuff. And then I realized that if I want to be really special, maybe I should go to fine dining so I could learn some cool techniques, and I can learn like how to cook meat perfectly and how like the really cool aspects of cooking work. So that way I can implement those factors in an everyday cuisine for people at the same price that we would give them,
Yeah.
you know, regular everyday stuff. And so I thought, okay, let's go to fine dining. And when I got to fine dining, I kind of let my ego explode, you know. I felt like we were doing the coolest thing ever. I felt like we were the best, and you know, we were kind of the best. But
Yeah, you guys are doing some pretty cool stuff.
yeah, we were pretty cool. But none of that really mattered. And at the time, it's all I could think about. I felt really proud of myself, and I let myself get a really big ego. And I fell in love with fine dining. But did I really, or did I fall in love with my ego? Right. So just every day, the guests. Oh, I just came back from Italy. This pasta was the best pasta I've ever had. You're better than the place next door. You know, blah, 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 blah. Like all this ego, you just absorb it all day, every day from everybody. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, I'm the man. And then I realized that it like started to affect my personality and my relationship, because I would go home and, you know, my wife would just treat me like a real person because she knows me as a real person, not like some chef that's, you know, getting smoke blown.
Door just flings open. You're like, here I am, bitch.
Yeah.
It's me.
Right, just like, you know, I just expected to get more praise, just praise.
Yeah.
My ego was so big. I was just expecting every praise from everybody all the time. And it was so unhealthy. And it just led to a lot of mental, just oddities, I would say. It's not a struggle even. It's just like the way I was thinking wasn't healthy for anybody.
Yeah.
So finding out that I was acting that way, and it took me a while to realize that that's why I was feeling the way as I was feeling, was the biggest wake-up call for me to go back to doing community-based things. You know, I've done my time in fine dining. I still love fine dining, but what I love more is just serving everybody, you know, not just the elite people that are going to kiss your feet because that makes them look cool at the table.
Yeah.
You know, and they're not really your friends, but they're going to say you are, and everything they tell you, they're going next door and saying the same thing to them about you. So none of it's really real. You know, you don't have real friends, but it feels like you do. So I think that made me feel like I had a community behind me, but did I really? I still don't know, but I did know that I was expecting it from everybody all the time. And for me, that was the biggest wake-up call to be like, hey, remember what you started for? Return home to your original idea and remember who you are. So this year for me has been soul-searching, relearning who I am through the 7 years of me getting all this ego and redefining me as a person. But like, I realized that work was defining me as a person, and it wasn't healthy. So I've been really soul-searching this year, getting back into regular hobbies. Like we've been disc golfing a couple times, you know, getting a dog, you know, it's been great. So
I love disc golfing. I hurt my elbow, which
Yeah.
they call it tennis elbow, and I feel like it's like a rich bitch thing. So I hate saying it, but yeah, I hurt my elbow, and I don't think I'll ever be able to disc golf again.
It sucks
So I
that we
wish I could
can't go
with you.
anymore, because you're the one who actually turned me on to disc golfing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I always loved going out there with you.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
I might just go and drink and smoke with you guys sometime if you're going.
that's basically the only reason I go.
I'll putt.
Not very good.
Yeah, well, I wasn't either, but now, yeah, I can't drive. I mean, dude, we started cutting fries from scratch here, and that's what it was like something was tingling, and we started cutting fries from scratch, and it just exploded, and now I can't even use this arm to cut. And then shaking a bottle, like formula for my daughter when she was born. But I think a lot of people deal with that ego thing. Maybe it's like, it might even be a masculine thing that goes outside of this industry, but I know for me, I've dealt with it. I'm told all the time that I have an ego problem, and I feel like at 34, I've been conscious of it and have made a lot of conscious efforts to try to bury it. But there's still moments when I'm told by my fiance that it exists, and it's embarrassing because, yo, like, no, I feel so humble in this part of my life. You know, I really feel like I'm there, and I don't know. Being aware of it's probably the first step.
Yeah,
I wish I knew what to say because I'm still dealing with it apparently, and I can't put my finger on it still.
I think it's taken a lot of obviously mature reflection on your part to get to the point where you're at. A lot of people, so to speak, just kind of get high on their own farts, and especially when you're stuck, or I don't want to say stuck, but when you spent a lot of time in the same spot, the same restaurant, and you're consistently putting out good work, you might not have those humbling experiences that would otherwise make you feel like, you know, I mean, I guess from my perspective, I spent almost 6 years in my first like real kitchen, to the point where I started as a salad cook and I ended up as the kitchen manager by the end. And I really felt like I was a badass. I felt like I was the shit. And then I went to the job that we worked at together, and I got out of my element, and I quickly realized, oh man, I'm not really as good as I thought I was. I was a big fish in a small pond. And then once I got out into the ocean, I kind of realized how vast it was, and how high of a climb that mountain really is.
I don't know if you're remembering that correctly, Steve.
What's that?
You busted me out of that so many times. I remember struggling, and you busted me out of everything. I don't feel like you were behind it all. I feel like you were the guy who got it done. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you're being hard on yourself, man. I can't remember how many times I was drowning on saute, and you had 20 fillets going, 10 ribeyes, you know, all the green beans. They're all ready to go, and I'm like, wait, I still have my duck. And you're like, bro, get it going. You come over, you put the stuff on for me. You saved me a lot, man. You're being hard on yourself.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I don't specifically remember instances, but I do everything that I can to help out the team. And man, I hate anytime I've worked in a kitchen where people they're like, I'm the grill guy and this is my job. My job is just to work this, and you can like drown on your station, and I'm just gonna sit over here on my phone if I don't have anything to do. I feel like that kind of mentality is cancerous to our industry all around. I mean, not even back of house, but front of house as well. The people that are just like, I'm only gonna run my food, and you know, fuck that bitch, I'm not running her shit. And you know, it just kind of like deteriorates everything from the ground up. And well, I mean, I appreciate you for saying that. Obviously at that point, my ego had humbled, and I'd already been working there for a year. So like I kind of figured it out a little bit, you know, at that point. Honestly, as far as ego goes, I'm not advocating this to anybody out there, but something that has really helped me out with my ego over the years is, well, two things really. The thing that I'm not advocating is psychedelics, because I feel as if specifically LSD the few times I've taken it, has caused ego death, and kind of made me realize that my ego is bullshit, and what really exists and what really matters is the universe in the whole, and that I'm a part of this. I'm not above anything. The other thing is I've told you about this, I've gotten really into Eastern philosophy in my life, Taoism and stuff. And I think that a lot of that preaches just kind of not viewing yourself highly or above others. And I think just religion in general kind of has that hallmark of kind of steering people towards collectivism and not individualism. So
I've always struggled with that. In that ego conversation, you were saying how you felt. But there's a difference in what's happening at home and what's happening at work. And this is a profession that really does, it almost requires a little bit of ego, to be honest. You know, because if you have a cook who's kind of beating themselves up and they don't believe in themselves, you almost need them to go like turbo mode and be like, don't just believe in yourself, believe that you can do it better than everybody, and then we'll get you there. Mm-hmm. And so I think that it does help, honestly. So, but leaving, and then you kill your ego at the door and go home and treat your family like you're not better than them. And maybe that's where I'm trying to figure out where my issue is. And like I said, I really think I'm getting better at it at this age, but it's like a lifetime where you have to check yourself. But it's such a weird thing to have to separate these two lives. It almost feels like you're living a double life. I mean, you are the same character, and you have the same, you carry your dignity through home and work, and You have integrity everywhere. Like there's a lot of things that are the same. You're wearing the same t-shirt here. Well, sometimes you change your clothes between the two, but you're probably wearing non-slips when you're taking your dog for a walk once in a while, like that type of stuff. But there's still something there's just a part of you that you have to kill when you walk away from the restaurant that goes into the home. And I don't know what that is, but I've experienced that too. Like you'll make fucking eggs in the morning and you're kind of waiting on you're eating and you're kind of waiting on someone to be like, damn, these eggs are the best eggs I've ever had. Yeah. You're like, stop it. But then they don't do that and you're just like, anybody think these are the best eggs they ever had?
You're like, what's wrong with them?
They're fine. Oh, okay. No, I'm just wondering because usually I go medium heat and crumble the sausage, but this time I actually crumbled it in my hands and then added it to a hot pan. Nobody sensed the difference. That's fine. No, they're just normal eggs. I'm going to go to work now.
My frozen pizzas are caramelized perfectly.
Yeah. You didn't notice I sprinkled some garlic salt on there?
I think it's kind of funny that you mentioned, though, like the dichotomy of who you are at work versus who you are outside of work, too, is I've been thinking about it a lot. And you've known people that I've worked with. You're notwithstanding because I feel like you saw a different side of me. I wasn't really necessarily the boss there. I was more so, I saw myself more as a worker than a boss, even though I guess I was a little elevated. But regardless, there was like 5 of us there, so I felt, and I was there all the time. So I felt like I could open up a lot more. But now it's funny because he meets people that I've worked with since where I've been in more of a managerial role. And I'm not really who I am outside of work at work so much.
Corporate Steven.
Yeah, they call me stiff collar Stevie? Something like that. But when I'm at work now, I'm just very stoic and just by the book on things. And rules matter a lot to me and just making sure that people are doing the right thing. And I think people see me as a stiff. They don't really see the personality side of me or how I am outside of work. And it kind of trips me out to think that people might actually see this podcast and they'll be like, who the fuck is that? People that I work with,
Yeah. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, probably.
I think probably for both of us. I'm a little more open in my position. It's a small local restaurant, but there's still some things that I won't talk about with customers that they might see me talk about here. And so we'll see. I mean, you might experience it too. I don't know how this is the first time that we've had a conversation, so I don't know how you show up outside of.
I mean, that's why I had to remove myself from the situation entirely and just do something that was more humble in general because I wasn't separating that. I had no separation between work and home. I was mentally in one spot and I was too tired to fix it for myself.
Is it melting now? Is it starting to
Oh, it's gone. Yeah. Like, I've really found who I am again, like this year, and it's been great. That was actually the breaking point of the fine dining restaurant for me. It was when I realized that I can't even be the chef that I can be because I'm so bogged down mentally that how am I going to get this team lifted up with me when I'm so far down in the hole that I don't even want to exist, bro. Like, so it was really good to separate myself entirely from that because I could not separate it.
Yeah. Can't be afraid to walk away from shit sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And I was so proud of what we were doing that it was really hard to walk away. But when you walk away from something and go to something that's perceived as something more humble, more community-based, you realize that being happy is like subjective. Pride isn't one thing. It's still great. Still serving people every day, serving more people every day, actually, people in my community. So it's been cool.
Sorry.
No, I just wanted to mention, you said you work with your brother now, right?
Yeah, it's my brother-in-law. Yep.
Your brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, and you get along with him, I'm assuming.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think that's a pretty cool thing too. That kind of helps like mend those fences, I guess, or I guess blurs the line between work and outside of work is when you actually work with people that you love and care about outside of work in general. I think it elevates you mentally a little bit, it seems to. But anyway, what were you gonna say?
Well, I don't remember.
Oh.
So fuck it. But I'm glad you bring up that topic because I just think that we could probably do a whole episode about ego.
Do you naturally feel that you're an opener or a closer?
I'm definitely an opener. It's a conflict of interest on schedule here. I don't want to get off at 11 and midnight anymore, so I'd like to open. Plus, closing is like a drag. You got to clean everything, make it real spotless, set them up for success. When you open, you just come in and cook stuff. That's what I'm here for.
Right, yeah.
That's crazy. I feel the opposite. I feel like an opener comes in and sets up the night for success a lot of times.
They should be.
A closer has you got the cleaning to do, but most of the restaurants I've been involved in, the closer has the higher volume of tickets. And you still need to restock for the morning guy, but a lot of times if it's not there, you're writing a note for the open, you're going to want to make this. I tried to restock it. When I'm a closer, I'll try to do a couple things, but sometimes I get too into it. I'm like, what am I going to be here for the next 2 hours after close to try to prep? Sometimes I'll do that just to be a friend to the opener or whatever. But
It's funny that you mentioned that though, because I feel like everywhere that I've worked that's been open for morning and nights, there's always been that war of,
oh yeah,
you know, the opening people are just like, oh, these night people are not fucking stocking or doing their cleaning, and then maybe it gets busy in the morning and the morning people can't do it, and the night people come in, they're like, oh, this is fucking bullshit.
Nobody cut limes last night. It happens in the front too. Oh, no silverware rolled. Oh my gosh, rolling silverware.
But it almost goes back to the ego thing that you were talking about, because I feel like a lot of times people can't step outside of themselves and be like, oh, maybe Joe was having a really hard day, and like we all get to that point sometimes that we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Cool.
But I think that a lot of times people are so focused on what themselves and what they need. I hate to say that, but it's just true that they look at what everybody else is doing, and it's easy to point the finger at them, but they can't point the finger at themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you feel like is next for you right now? Are you focusing on now, or do you have plans for?
Yeah, so it's actually big plans, really recent big plans. Right now I'm baking in the morning, pastries and all that stuff, and then we're actually going to expand and open up a full-on breakfast restaurant, so I'll be in charge of that.
Oh yeah.
And so that'll be a lot more fun. I can't wait for service. I didn't think I would miss the ebb and flow and the stress of service, but I miss it, man. I miss the fire, so I'm excited to get back in.
As soon as you start to feel like this is it, and then you're going to rush yourself right back into some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's healthy because I'm starting to miss it, and it is stuff. I don't think I'm ever going to leave the industry. It's what I'm good at. I've been in it for so long, and I love serving people and making people happy. So, it might be more hours, but I feel like if we do it right, it won't be as stressful as some of the other places I've been at. And it'll be my own mentality, honestly.
Yeah, you got a moment to reset now and a different perspective, it sounds like. So I think, you can go in it with more confidence, and it should, I would hope, it sounds like it's going to smooth things out.
Yeah, I think it will.
And I also think that area is really starved for just breakfast spots or just good restaurants in general. And it's really gonna, because it's back where you're from, right?
No, it's actually in the neighboring town.
Whoville.
Yeah, Whoville. But yeah, every time I go up there, it's just it feels like right now it's all dispensaries. There's like literally nothing else. So I think that there's a lot of people around there that are looking for something. So you guys are going to be filling
the
a void.
munchies, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy. The dispensaries bought like a lot of restaurants out, a lot of buildings, just on the pretense that we were going to vote for more dispensaries in our town, and we didn't. And so now all these buildings are sold, and all these other businesses are closing down. Like all of our bowling alleys closing down, our mini golf places closing down for dispensaries, right? But it's like, even if we did build more dispensaries, people come, and then what do? Just go to more dispensaries? Like, we need activities too.
How many fucking dispensaries do you need? Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. How do you see, do you ever think about retirement?
Not often. I think I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
I don't have a plan.
I kind of feel like I'm just going to be like the 75-year-old dude that's still coming in mopping the floors and just bullshitting with people,
I'm gonna be like Wolfgang Puck, 90 on the line.
Yeah. Jamie was saying that I think this will be it would be the last episode before this one. No, 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he thinks retirement might be maybe he'll want to be a dishwasher and just wait for the one moment a year in where he'll be like, I can cover that guy that called off sick. Like, you're a fucking dishwasher.
He's like, I still got it.
Pull like a feature out of his ass. He's been like eyeballing the inventory, trying to write the perfect dish to just,
It's just exotic fruit flambe.
Yeah. They're like, what the heck?
It's like, what's that? Goodwill Hunting or whatever, where the janitor is.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, is that movie?
I am not a movie guy.
Okay. There's a movie where the janitor is like some kind of savant.
Okay.
He's like the janitor of a college, but it turns out that he's actually smarter than a professor or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Goodwill Hunting, but I'm not sure.
I think about retirement a lot because I want to retire really young, but I don't think it's going to look traditional. I don't think that you just go, all right, I'm cashing in my 401k. Well, obviously you won't, because if you're retiring young, you're probably not going to pull your 401k. Also, I don't have one. So I did for a minute. I had a corporate job there's really nothing there that's helpful. So I always think that retirement's going to look like I'm trying to set myself up in a way to have passive income, and I might still need to be active, but I'm hopefully not tying on an apron. And I don't want to be stuck in an area. I don't want to be stuck here. I want to be able to we really hope that we can get an RV and just go do our shit, which then comes with like, well, maybe we should have a food operation tied to this RV. And if we're going to go to the Smokies, then we're going to be there for 4 days. And maybe 2 of them, we need to try to sell fucking paninis or something. I mean, whatever. And is that sustainable? I don't know. It's fun to brainstorm because I feel like life is moving a lot faster these days for me, and it's going to be here before I know it. And at this pace, I'm just going to be literally cooking until I stroke on the line. I've opened a restaurant, but I still work in this, and it's kind of necessary. So that's why I bring it up. I don't know if you have any thoughts at all or any plans on how it's going to look.
I mean, long term, I'd like to maybe open a restaurant, maybe have some sauces go viral and put them on Walmart shelf. Like that would be ideally the end goal. You know what I mean? Just having a manufacturing deal and collecting 5% on the beach somewhere. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But that being said, I do love service. Stepping out of the kitchen might not even be rewarding. I might still want to be part of it even then, but
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that someday, if I can just stay on the corporate path, eventually I'll be at a point where I'm overseeing restaurants that a family of restaurants, and I can just kind of come in and tell people what they need to do. And
Your britches keep going 1 inch higher every year.
yeah, start to wear the suspenders. Yeah. That's kind of the path that I'm on, and I think that's what will eventually end up happening as long as I do well. But it kind of, man, what was it like last week? One of the other managers that I work with, she's in her 60s and she's just been doing this forever. And she told me, she was like, I don't know, I think she was just frustrated. She gets agitated sometimes and she just says, she flies off the handle with stuff. And she was like, you're just going to be doing this like me, and you're just going to be exactly where I'm at and stuff. And this is kind of like fucking punching down on me, dude. I just want to be like, fuck you. But no.
That's what I was trying to do. Is that not right?
I mean, obviously I have great ambitions, and I mean, I'm hoping that this podcast goes somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
You know, it's not something that I'm planning on, but if I could just talk about cooking, that'd be awesome. You know?
Yeah, I hope that this podcast at least takes us somewhere that adds value to our life. Whether it's like, I mean, financial would be awesome if we could lean on it for some monetary value. That'd be really cool. But I do expect that it will take us some places where we just have new experiences. I mean, this is a new experience, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you and I are ever going to sit down and chat. So I'm glad that we did.
Same.
It's already adding value to my life because, I mean, I'm seeing old friends.
Yeah.
And I get to see you every week, you know, which is,
Aww.
well,
Guys, let's hug.
I mean, it gets difficult. Even we've lived in the same area forever. I mean, within driving distance of one another, but our lives have just gotten so hectic with work and family lives and stuff that it's hard to carve out time for your friends sometimes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the one big positive for this podcast to me so far is that I actually get to hang out with my buddies, you know. But
yeah, we sort of carved out a way to make it work, like make it a job in a sense. I mean, it feels like a job. It's not paying, but it has those moments where you go, we put all this work in, but yeah, we're getting to reconnect with people or make new connections and stuff.
yeah, regular viewers might notice that the sun has come up, and that's, I mean,
This is our first time shooting in the morning.
Yeah.
We've never shot in the morning. We've always shot after dinner service, late at night. And so we're drinking coffee. I'm all amped up. Well, this is vodka. Steve's going kind of hard.
yeah, and I've got to work later, so
Yeah.
you know, I got to tie one on.
Well, my bedtime's at 7:30 p.m. sharp, so good thing it's in the morning.
Dang. What time do you go in?
No, I'm just kidding. I go to bed around 9 though.
Oh, okay. That's still pretty early.
I wake up at like 5.
I
going
struggle
like 6.
I struggle to go to bed before midnight. I went to bed at 1 last night, knowing I had to wake up at 6 today, and I couldn't. I just tried. And
Nowadays, by 9 o'clock, I mean, because I work morning job as well, you know, for the most part. And by 9 o'clock, my eyes are so heavy. I might as well go to bed because I'm not going to enjoy or put a lot of energy into anything that I'm doing while I'm awake now. So
What else we got? Any other wild stories you got up your ass? Hopefully not.
All right, one time I was at the brewery and the dishwasher in the back was screaming and punching boxes like really loud. And then he runs up to the line and I'm on the pizza station. So I'm like the first person he talks to, and I'm not the boss by any means. He goes, "Hey, my baby mom just called. Her ex is there and she's getting her ass beat right now. Can I go?" And I'm like, "What? Why are you asking me?" I said, run out the door. And he said, "Okay, thanks." And he sprinted out the door and he came back like 3 hours later, mangled and sweaty. How'd it go? He's like, I won. I was like, what? And I asked him, I said, why did you ask me to leave? Isn't that more important than work? And he's like, well, I just wanted, not to get fired. I wanted someone to know what I was going to. I was like, bro, dang.
That reminds me, man, I mean, that's wild, but there's one job that so it was right when I'd stepped into full service. I was coming from fast food, and I pulled in this guy from fast food, and he was a little off. I mean, he's a good guy, but he was in the Iraq war, and he had seen people die, killed people, and I think it kind of fucked him up a little bit mentally. And I remember one day, as I was training him, I think he was working a double shift or something, and he showed up later than he was supposed to, and his hands were all fucked up. And he was like, sorry, I'm late, man. I caught these guys trying to break into my garage. I beat the shit out of them. I was like, whoa, what?
We're going to tell him that all this food looks great today.
Yeah, for sure. And he's heated.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude. Well, awesome, man. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. I feel like we could talk for a long time, but we got to put a cap on it at some point. So, yeah, I'm glad you stopped in and we had this conversation. Cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been great.
For sure. All right. Well, thank you. Oh, we're supposed to be saying that you need to fucking follow and like and comment on our shit.
Yeah,
Okay?
please. Yeah, let's start a discussion in the comments about.
Yeah. We're gonna send old boy to kick your ass.
Yeah, my buddy. Yeah, I still got his number, and he's still as crazy as ever.
He's
So,
taller than me.
Yeah, he's taller than everybody actually.
Dang.
This man is Shaquille O'Neal sized. So.
We've had some good support. So if you're watching this, obviously you're supporting us.
Yeah, I did actually want to mention that this podcast has had a lot of people reach out to me that I haven't spoke to in a long time. And I mean, Sean knows, these guys know that I'm pretty reclusive in my personal life, and I don't really mean to lose contact with people, but it kind of just happens because I mean, I'm just kind of floating around focusing on whatever is in front of me. So I want to thank everybody that's reached out and with support and people that I haven't talked to in a while. I love you guys. And, I don't mean to be that way, but just trust that I'm not intentionally trying to steer away from anybody. I'm just kind of like, probably just sitting at home high by myself and doing a painting or something, like this.
The mean comments are getting to you.
There's a lot of them so far. Yeah, I try to stay away from the comments.
I think the worst comments I've seen so far was we had one Instagram reel get a lot of views, and it was a mixed bag, but the worst ones were just calling me a liar, basically. And I was like, oh, whatever. This is all good content, pretty much. It was because I'd said that I'd worked an overnight shift, and they were like, bullshit. You've never worked an overnight shift, and I was like,
why would you lie about
yeah, multiple times, like that's part of this game sometimes. And if you're not, then that's awesome. I mean, I'm not doing them anymore, that's for sure. I've done, maybe last year, we opened another concept in a neighboring town. And there was maybe one time that I got home at like 6 a.m., but I left at 6 a.m. the day before type shit. And so, but I still came home and crashed out and went to sleep for a while. Getting older, I can't do that crap anymore.
It is kind of funny though, because I've never really been obviously never been a content creator until now. And just seeing the different comments from the different sources and what they kind of lean towards. And I've noticed that Instagram is pretty vile. There's a lot of shitheads on Instagram.
That's good though.
Sorry. I mean, there's a lot of good people on Instagram.
No,
too.
I think the shitheads are good. Some of these people, it's like the same. They're arguing with themselves. And they're just logging into their other one, or it's a fucking bot maybe. I don't know. They all seem, I don't know how to identify a bot.
I don't really care what anybody says about me, honestly. Like, I think it's all great. Kind of positive, negative. Leave whatever you're feeling in your mind. I want to hear it. But it's just kind of funny to see. I don't know, Facebook has kind of been a little bit more like what I was talking about. Somebody I haven't seen in 20 years. They're like, oh, hey, there's Steve.
Steve's not even on social media pretty much at all.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to take the time out to say that, because, I know that I take one picture every 5 years, so.
Yeah. And it's in my phone because I'm like, hey, we're camping. Come on, bro, take a photo.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes he'll send me pictures. I'll be like, when did I even fucking...
Oh, you know what? Just real quick, I think that we should add that if you are, I think, bartending or cooking and you're trying to make a name for yourself, you got to take pictures. Like, I think that you really should. Personally, I think that you should start to build a social media base for your projects. You should and like run them by some people, because sometimes I'll look back at something I did when I was 23 that I thought was really nice, and really the plate composition wasn't quite there. And I know that's going to happen when I'm 50, looking back at stuff I'm doing when I'm 30. But for real, learn how to take some good pictures. Don't be afraid to get a little bit, maybe just a little light, and really try to build a base. And I can't really explain how it helps, but it does. It just helps build a little bit of a personal brand. It makes you more hireable, more than likely in a lot of restaurants. And if your main goal is to someday run your own concept, building a base takes years. And so if you start taking photos now, 10 years from now, you might have some people that have been following your journey that are excited about your project. So I think that's it's really big.
It's like a modern day portfolio,
Yeah. Yeah, I think put it out there for real. Just keep and try to make those connections. If this is what you really want to do, then I think that's super important. I remember the first kitchen I worked in where the guys were all taking photos, and I was like, I thought that they were all ego tripping. But over time I realized that they were all really humble guys, but they knew that they were trying to build their careers in a certain direction. And you see restaurants open with magnificent talent and close, and they didn't exist on the internet. And you kind of have to, in my opinion, you kind of have to. It's not like it used to be. From what I hear, before our generation, it kind of used to be like, you just put that hot dish out and stay consistent and you're going to be fine. I don't think it really works that way anymore. I think you really have to be kind of powerful on the internet. You have to catch people's eyes. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I think that's something you've learned.
You made a pretty good career without doing that, to be honest. So maybe I'm wrong, but.
Yeah, but I don't know. I haven't really, I guess there was a moment where I was kind of going towards like the culinary arts aspect of it, but I think I've kind of segued into more of a corporate style role. And I think for me, it's just been my resume, just having not only that experience, but just having things that I can point to. Like I remember the restaurant that we worked at won an award in 2019 that I could put on my resume, that's really impressive, that you can give those type of things to potential employers, and they already know before they even meet you that you have some kind of pedigree. But it's been a different aspect for you that I think has been really cool to watch you kind of develop, because I don't think you really had a whole lot of social media knowledge until you became a chef. And then I think it expanded a lot when you opened this place. And I kind of watched you figure out how to make these reels and these shorts, and like
survival, some of it.
Right.
It's a lot. Man, I run a burger restaurant right now. Easily, I'll say 30, and a lot of times it's more, but easily 30% of my time goes to how do we look on the internet, and it drives traffic. And sometimes when you feel like it doesn't, you just wait a little bit, keep going, and I'll have customers that'll tell me, oh, we're here because or somebody will ask about, you put something on your website that really only exists on your website, and you just kind of like leave it there and see if somebody mentions it, and then eventually somebody will, and it's like, oh, okay, that definitely brought that table in. 100% our website brought that table in.
Right.
And that reel brought this in. And like when we opened, we had to do a soft open, so we had to fill these seats with 20 invites basically, and that would have never happened if I feel like if I just went to another town and nobody knew me, well, how would we even find soft open invites, So, you almost have to. Do you do that? Do you take a lot of photos and try to build like a personal brand? And
Yeah, so I have my own Instagram that I haven't used in quite some time, because there was like a separation between skill, because like you say, you released something 5 years ago, you think it's real nice, then you get more experience, you look at it, you're like, could have done better. So I've been taking a break from posting more stuff until I really feel like I'm refined more. But I have a whole portfolio of professional photos taken in college. My wife runs the head of marketing, so she's always professionally photographing all of my stuff. And so we have a really big presence on social media. And I gotta say that if anything is gonna be beneficial, it's definitely that internet footprint, because even if it doesn't get likes, people are still seeing it. And if it looks good, they're gonna think about you. And as long as they're thinking about you, you're probably gonna get some business, so.
And it's probably the cheapest. I've looked into a lot of different ways to advertise, and there's traditional advertisements can cost so much that you're just like, I can't even fathom doing that, and then it not working could be the end of us, especially a small business.
Even from the corporate side of it, I've noticed over the last 5 years that we've really gone away from traditional advertisement, because at this point it's almost not even worth the money that it costs to put an ad on the radio or TV or whatever. But we've pushed hard on reviews. Reviews are the cornerstone of advertisement at this point, because if you can keep your review score high, then when people are Googling, I don't know, burgers in this area, you know, then your name pops up instantly. And a lot of times people will go for that first thing that they see, especially if it looks good. And reviews, and there's a lot of Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We've always had a dedicated person to run those kind of things and make sure that we're putting out posts like 3-4 times a week, just to keep our name out there, you know.
Keep nailing it.
Right.
Yeah, I think, if you're a cook or a bartender, and just even separate from your business that you're working for, do that for yourself. Treat yourself like a brand. I think it'll do something good for you. And if you guys are listening or watching and you have some advice on how to build your personal brand or your actual business, we'd love to hear it, because I lose sleep over it. I mean, there could always be more asses in the seats.
We do have the email set up now, right? Or do we not?
Yes, I don't remember it.
But we are wefeedthempod.com. Yeah.
Wefeedthem.com is the website. And everything's on the website, wefeedthem.com.
Yeah.
All of our socials, all of our contact. So hit that shit.
Yeah, wefeedthem.com.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Thanks, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Steve, I'll see you next week.
Yeah, sure will.
All right.
Probably in a few days at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 days from now. What time is it?